Have you ever wondered why they don't just launch rockets from the top of a mountain? Because it seems like a genius idea, right? But let's break it down and see if reaching for the stars from the summit is as simple as it sounds. Picture this, a rocket soaring into space, not from sea level, but from the breathtaking heights of a mountain. The logic is solid: closer to space, less air resistance, and a shorter journey. But before we strap rockets to mountaintops, let's explore the intricacies. Imagine the fuel it takes to lift a rocket from sea level to 13,000 feet. Spoiler alert, it's a lot. What if, instead of battling Earth's gravity from the bottom, we could start closer to the edge of our atmosphere? It's a brilliant notion, right? Less fuel, smaller rockets, and more efficiency. But hold on, there's a catch. Think about it like this. The rocket's first stage does the heavy lifting. If we launch from a mountain, the thinner atmosphere allows for a more vacuum-optimized nozzle. A larger, longer nozzle means better conversion of exhaust into high-velocity gas. Efficiency jackpot. But, and there's always a but, there's a limit to how large we can make that magic nozzle, even in the thin mountain air. Now let's shift gears to another cosmic curiosity. Why not launch rockets from the equator and ride the Earth's spin into space? It sounds like a celestial carnival ride, doesn't it? But as always, the cosmos has its own set of rules. Why settle for less when Earth offers us free energy? Launching from the equator means tapping into the full force of our planet's rotation. Picture this, a rocket getting an extra boost from Earth's spin, helping it break free from gravity's clutches. It's like a cosmic slingshot propelling us into the final frontier. Now let's compare. Launching from the equator gives us a speed boost, making the rocket's journey to orbit more efficient. It's like catching a ride on a moving sidewalk instead of trudging uphill. But, and you guessed it, there's a twist. As much as we'd love to harness the Earth's spin for all it's worth, the equator advantage isn't a cure-all. The gain in speed is significant, but the overall performance boost isn't a game-changer. Rockets are complex beasts, and the equator, while helpful, won't magically turn them into warp-speed wonders. Now let's talk nozzle size. Imagine a rocket engine with a nozzle so large that it can lower the pressure of the exhaust below the surrounding air pressure. It's like turning down the volume on your spaceship's tailpipe. But here's the catch. At sea level, where the air pressure is highest, this could spell trouble. Too low a pressure at the nozzle exit can lead to flow separation, potentially damaging the engine. To grasp this concept, let's take a look at the Falcon 9 rocket. The first stage has 9 engines designed for sea level, while the upper stage rocks just one vacuum-optimized engine. Why the difference? Well, during stage separation, watch how wide that upper stage nozzle is. It's practically as broad as the entire rocket. That's the key to keeping things in working order. As a rule of thumb, we want to avoid the pressure at the nozzle exit dropping below 40% of the surrounding air pressure. This ensures we sidestep flow separation issues. So, at sea level, where the pressure is about 1 bar by definition, the exhaust pressure at the nozzle exit rarely dips below 0.4 bar. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Just launch from a mountain and avoid the whole pressure problem. Well, here's the cosmic reality check. There's a limit to how large we can make a nozzle that works, even in the thin mountain air. Launching from a mountain offers advantages, but it's not a silver bullet. We need to balance the benefits of reduced air resistance with the limitations of nozzle size. So while launching rockets from mountaintops might seem like the ultimate shortcut to space, the nozzle size puzzle keeps us grounded. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Nice idea, but the universe has its own rules. Now, why Pikes Peak, you ask? Well, it's close to our workforce, has a paved road for easy commutes, and sits high up in the sky, where the atmosphere is already 40% less dense than the air at sea level. The dream? Launching rockets from the pinnacle of Pikes Peak. The reality? Well, that's where rocket science comes into play. You see, the magic happens with the rocket's engine nozzle. A larger nozzle can work wonders, especially when you're breathing the thin air up on the mountain. Think of it like getting a bigger engine for your spaceship. In this fantasy scenario, Our slightly enlarged nozzle could boost the efficiency of the rocket's first stage by a few percentage points. We're talking about specific impulses of 380 seconds at the launch site and a whopping 420 seconds in the vacuum of space. Compare that to the real Delta IV medium's 360 seconds at launch and 412 seconds in space using the standard RS-68A engine. But why does this nozzle size matter so much? Well, if the Delta IV medium were to launch from its usual Kennedy Space Center pad, it could hoist around 8.5 tons to orbit. Launching from our cool new site at Pikes Peak, the payload capacity shoots up by about 1,000 kilograms, hitting a healthy 9.5 tons. That's a significant boost in cargo carrying capabilities, thanks to the perks of launching from the top of the world. Now, before you start dreaming of rocket-powered mountain rides, let's throw in a bit of reality. The Delta IV medium, with its retired status, is just an example we're using to illustrate the point. In practice, there are limitations. Not every rocket can handle these nozzle expansions, especially if they have neighboring engines that might get in the way. So while launching from mountaintops seems like a stellar idea, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a delicate dance of location, engineering, and good old physics. But hey, imagining rockets roaring into the sky from Pikes Peak is a pretty epic mental image, don't you think? Now let's address the altitude myth. Yes, being higher up means you're a smidge closer to space, but in the grand cosmic ballet, that modest 4 kilometers gain is like a tiny toe dip in a vast pool of altitudes our rockets eventually reach. It's the blink of an eye in the journey to the stars. And what about speed? Turns out launching from a mountain doesn't give us the rocket boost we might imagine. The velocity gained from a higher altitude is like adding a sprinkle of cosmic seasoning. It's not a game changer. Remember the orbit versus suborbit chat? Even if you start in space, you still need a horizontal velocity of about 7,900 meters per second to stay in the cosmic club. So the mountain advantage in speed, not as thrilling as it sounds. Now let's dive into the real cosmic heroes, engine nozzles. These nifty contraptions can make or break our rocket dreams. A more efficient nozzle means more delta V, the magical juice that propels us further into the cosmic unknown. We're talking about squeezing every last drop of efficiency and reducing air resistance to make our rockets sing in harmony with the stars. But wait, if engine nozzles are the heroes, why not just launch from the mountains and reap the benefits? Despite the gains in nozzle efficiency and the slight reduction in air resistance, the altitude of the launch site itself doesn't play a starring role. It's like having the perfect guitar solo, but forgetting to tune the guitar. The altitude boost? Turns out it's just a background note in the cosmic symphony. Now imagine trying to find a cozy hotel for our launch crew on the summit. Not exactly a Hilton up there, is it? And what about gas stations? A rocket might not need gas, but the trucks hauling supplies certainly do. Now, what if our mountain hideaway is in a dry county? You know, the kind where finding a cold one might be trickier than launching a rocket into space. Employees might prefer commuting from a neighboring county that's a bit more relaxed. Now let's talk money, the cosmic currency that makes rockets dance. Ignoring the day-to-day operational costs, let's focus on the big bucks. Picture this, we're turning our mountain into a launchpad wonderland, complete with upgraded roads, tracking stations downrange, and maybe even some road pothole therapy. But here's the kicker. These upgrades might not come cheap. We're talking hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars, just for a paltry 1,000 kilogram increase in payload capacity per launch. It's like buying a diamond-encrusted rocket when all you needed was a cosmic Uber to space. Now let's get real about costs. If a customer's payload weighs over 8.5 tons, they might start eyeing other launch providers or consider upgrading to a Delta IV medium with a couple of solid rocket boosters strapped on for extra oomph. Back in the day when the Delta IV medium ruled the skies, customers had choices. No boosters, 2 side boosters, or the full squad of 4 side boosters. For a cool $5 million, you could skip the side boosters, throw in an extra $5 million, and you'd get 2 side boosters. boosting your payload capacity to a whopping 12 tons, a cosmic cargo upgrade worth the price tag. And that's a wrap. So what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more.